Alright, so I am at Kentucky in the Cup Series here. Going to try to lay down a decent lap, then talk about the line I am using and the setup and all that good stuff. I have ran a 30.69 with this. I'm going to try to get a setup or a lap on video that is within about a tenth or so of that, and if I can do that, I'll consider that a pretty decent lap. Then I'll talk about the points I'm using, or the line I'm using, and the points I'm using along the track to run that line. And then we will go into the garage and actually talk about the setup itself. Kentucky is probably my worst mile-and-a-half track. So this is probably one where I have the most trouble. And I'm not sure if it is the setup, it is the line I'm driving, or it's a place where I just happen to run out of talent, because that happens from time to time. So that is a 30.77. That is within a tenth of my all-time best. So I'm going to call that pretty respectable. And then let's go. I'm going to go down here and talk about my markers in turns 3 and 4, and then we'll talk about 1 and 2. I will say the setup I've got here, it's not something that's going to put you in the top 10 all-time on the leaderboard. I'm way off of that. I think I'm like 3/10 off of that. And I don't know if they've got better setups, better lines, more talented drivers, setups more geared to a short run to put up a fast lap. I don't know. But I still think this is a pretty respectable lap. I think the best all-time is, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's not a whole lot better than that goal time of 30.2, so I don't think that is really indicative of what you should be shooting for. I don't think very many people could hit a 30.2, but I am stopped here to point out that there are 2 porta-johns right there, and that is my mark for turn 3 of coming off the wall. I am not coming off the gas, but I'm coming off the wall when I see those. So I try to turn at the porta-johns to come off the wall. I try to run below the suggested line to try to run a little bit inside of that, shorten the track a little bit. Not exactly here, but around here, this green traffic light is where I'm actually getting out of the throttle. And then I'm kind of letting the car settle a little bit till it gets down close to the yellow line. Then I am back in the gas, and when you get back in gas, Kentucky, just drop the hammer. You don't have to ease back in. You certainly need to be back in the gas well before you get up to those billboards there, like the Love's billboard is the first one. Then you just run the yellow line, basically. As you get out of the corner, you can dip below the yellow line onto the apron. I really wouldn't recommend it mid-corner. But as you get out of the corner, there is a little grip down there. You're usually not in too much trouble if you get a couple of tires below that yellow line, but you certainly don't want to get all 4. I run the very, very bottom and get down here on the apron, clear coming through the start-finish line, and then shortly after the start-finish line, I start working my way back up the track here to try to get up here to have a wide arc into turn 1. Turn 1, I think, is critical because it's very long. You are turning the wheel long before you actually get into the corner. So about here where this Toyota sign is, you've already started to turn the wheel to get the car to go into the corner. And about halfway, I think, between the Toyota sign and that green traffic light up there, so probably about where I am setting here is where you come out of the throttle. And when I say come out, you don't really come out all the way. You kind of lift your foot to where you're about 25% throttle, then you drop it back down. And it's just that quick. It's lift down. It's you're not out very long at all in turns 1 and 2, and you try to get the car to work its way down towards the yellow line and then kind of stay around the yellow line. I don't like to get in this area between this line of like broken concrete and the yellow line. It almost seems like that broken concrete is where the banking of the track changes, and it can kind of upset the car a little bit. So I try to stay above that. I guess you'd call it a break in the concrete, or that line going around the track. If you get down in here, if you have 2 wheels below the yellow line, you're kind of all right. If you get all 4 below it, you better have the car pointed straight. If you're trying to turn and you're below that yellow line, you're probably going to spin out. But at any rate, I try to stay up here, and like I said, you're just barely out of the gas. Just lift to about 25%, then back down. Hard on the gas, let the car drift out towards the wall, and then head down and get ready for turn 3. So that is a lap at Kentucky. I'm having all kinds of video software problems. This is, I think, the 4th time I've tried to record this, and every time I've tried to record it, I've had problems with the video software, so I hope I've got it. I apologize if I sound stale, but I keep saying this stuff over and over and not getting it on video. So at any rate, here we go. Let's talk about the setup. The left bump is up at 8. That was done to try to help the car turn in the middle of the corner. That left bump setting, increasing it, helps the car turn on entry and mid-corner. And I was having trouble getting the car to turn. Kind of, a lot of times you hear them talk about it on TV or hear crew chiefs will talk about get the car to roll the middle. Well, this is what they're talking about. That left bump can help the car turn through the middle of the corner. Other interesting things on the setup, the front weight and wedge are pretty high. I'm starting to do more and more setups where I have a pretty heavy front weight and wedge. I tried doing my normal stuff where I'm down about 49.5 on the front weight and wedge, and I could get to within about 1/10 of my time here, but I just couldn't get the car to feel like it was very stable, and it was a little bit slower. So I wound up coming back to this. The spring settings are pretty typical, 1200 on the front, 500 on the left rear, and 600 on the right rear. If the car is getting loose on you as the tires wear, or if the right rear tire is just burning off too quickly for you, go down on that right rear spring a couple of clicks. That will help alleviate some of that tire wear, and it'll help tighten the car up a little bit. Air pressures are completely default, didn't change anything. The left front camber, I think I went up quite a bit on it because the left front tire doesn't wear very much and it helps the car turn. The right front's pretty close to what it was as a default setting. I went down quite a bit. I think the default setting on the front sway bar is like a 1.585. I went down on that to help the car turn, and that's pretty typical. Is if you're going to have a high front weight and wedge, those things make the car tight. You got to have other settings that make the car loose to kind of offset that and get the car balanced. The front sway bar, by going down on it, that helps the car from corner entry to about mid-corner. Helps the car turn. Stiffer or bigger sway bars there will make the car tighter. The track bars, I went up quite a bit on those, and again, that's typical of what you see in a setting where the front weight and wedge are high. If the front weight and wedge are high, you got to have track bars high to offset that and achieve a balance. Left track bar affects corner entry, right track bar is corner exit. The higher numbers there make the car looser, the lower numbers make it tighter. Last thing to talk about in the setup is the rear end ratio that is the default is like a 3.60. I went with a 3.33. I never thought I would be at that number. I didn't think I'd turn the RPMs I needed at 3.33, but the stopwatch doesn't lie. That's where I was getting my best lap time, so that's what I went with. If you do go with a 3.4 or 3.45, I would recommend moving that grill tape from 55 down to 50%. You're likely to overheat, I think, if you run a 3.4 or 3.45 and don't change that grill tape. So with that being said, any questions you got, leave them in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm getting a lot of positive comments, a lot of likes on the videos. I think you guys are really appreciating the content I'm putting out. If this is a good setup for you, if I like the content you're getting, please like the video and please subscribe to the channel. I love all the positive feedback that I've been getting, and the support means a great deal to me. So thank you guys for watching and for the support. Hope this is a great setup for you. And with that, I will say have a great day and enjoy.